Hey, it's Ben again with another Fairchild 24 video. I'm building this plane from scratch in quarter scale for FAI competition. And the more stuff you make from scratch and the more faithful it is to the original plane, the better off you are. So this video is about the windshield frame. It's not complicated. It's just a flat sheet that's cut out and bent around, but it's turned out pretty complicated because of some details in it. You can see a flange at the bottom where it meets the fuselage. Also, there's these little radius returns around the windshield openings that have become kind of complicated. It's also got 110 screws in it, which is a lot of screws. You can see them all on the top there. So to make this, I started out with Fairchild factory drawings, as always. I also used some cardboard or poster board templates. Took about 5 or 6 templates to get something that actually worked and everything in the right spot. Those templates just get traced out on some aluminum. This is 12 thousandths thick. It's a 3000 series aluminum that's quarter hard. It's been pretty good to work with, and it works well. All the inside lines and the radii for the corners, I draw them from scratch every time. Every time you transfer a template to something, everything grows by a pencil mark or marker mark in this case. So I'm just using a circle gauge to draw the radii on the inside and a straight edge to draw all the lines. That keeps it accurate and clean for every iteration. As you probably expect, this doesn't work really on the first try, so doing it a lot, it's nice to keep the parts clean and proper. There's a lot of lines. So to cut this out, I'm just using an old pair of scissors, but they're very sharp, and cutting around the line and cutting to the line. To cut the inside, I don't show it. I'll show it later. I have foreshadowing there, uh, but the inside gets cut too. To roll out that edge, that radius where the flange on the fuselage, where it meets the fuselage, I made this edge roller from scratch. And the rollers it has on it currently just bend in that radius. They do leave some marks, so they get rolled out with another roller on just a rod against my vise. The vise has been polished there. And then you go try it out. Do a little dremeling to relieve it around where the jury struts come in. And now I'm trying to stretch that flange. When you raise a flange on a curved piece, it wants to straighten the piece, so you have to stretch it. A little bit of hammering there. That's an old 2-ounce plum ball peen. The face has been polished for this as well. And they're stretching that flange, so you've got to make it a little bit longer so that it curves the windshield around. I tried it with the roller, but it just got wavy, and I found that very gently hitting it with a hammer a lot does a very good job. You can start to see it curving slowly. You can hear when the hammer hits properly and when it doesn't. Let's listen. Those all sound like good hits. You'll get kind of a dull thud instead of that sharp tink whenever you miss, or when the work isn't up against the anvil just right. And then trying to roll out some of those hammer marks, because you're going to make marks no matter how flat the hammer is. The surface, it makes a mark. Looking pretty good, though. Let's fit it to the airplane, see how it goes. Looks like it's fitting. Okay, you can start to see the windshield V braces buckling. To fix that, I put these 16th-inch aluminum pieces here. They also retain the windshield glass. You can see they keep the V braces much straighter. And I think this was a full-scale problem as well, because it's kind of similarly done. So in those areas where it's not fitting on the fuselage is very round because the plane also came with a radial engine. And so we're just going to try to bend down that flange a bit and maybe move the radius area a bit to make it fit better. So hitting, rolling, trying it again. And there's a lot of trying, as you might imagine. Getting closer, still got that one spot there. So we'll hit it some more.
Not great. I might be able to bang it down a little bit. So,
Yeah, bang it down a little bit.
I think we're getting there.
Getting there.
That's looking good. That's hardly buckling. That's almost there. All right. That needs to come down. That needs to come down. That needs to come down. Okay. Let's go hit it some more.
Really rough there on the handle.
Okay, that mostly fits. Still needs to come down.
Using a smooth jaw pliers there to try to bend that flange down a little bit so that I'll meet the fuselage better. And then we've changed rollers on the roller to start rolling that return. This one's a little hard to control and takes a couple of tries. It also doesn't get in the corners, and I've got a solution for that I'll show later. But you can see that spot's still just not fitting right. So I'm going to try to move where that flange comes in with the roller. Try it.
May have to scrap it.
Yeah, you heard on-screen Ben. Scrap it. So that was a day and a half of work, and we'll do it all over again with a new one. Same pattern, same process. So I drill the holes and deburr them and drill the 110 fastener holes. So that step drill makes those big holes, and I'm able to cut inside where the inside cuts are made. I cut about a 1/4 inch from the line to give me some room, and then cut right on the line, and then use a Dremel to get the corner radii done really well. All right, I didn't show this process in the first go around. To start that flange, I use a dowel to rub on the line. I find that kind of pre-bending it helps reduce the amount of marks that this roller makes. You can really see when I started rolling that, it was straight, and as you roll it, you can start to stretch that flange and start to get some curve into it. And then the hammer fixes all the buckles and starts to make it fit better. A lot of the same stuff. This is, I think, windshield number 5. Still not convinced it's going to be the winner, but it does fit and it keeps the wind out, which I guess is what windshields are supposed to do. All in all, it takes me an entire day, probably 8 hours, to make one of these things. These holes are transferred from a poster board template, and that aluminum backing strip is aluminum, so I have to fit the holes to the strip. Just bending in the return. This one I struggle with a little bit, and it kind of stretched part of that V-brace. I was able to get it mostly back. Whenever you bend a flange in that curve piece on the inside bottom of those side windows, it wants to straighten out. So I have this dolly that I turned the 30-second radius into, and it just helps shrink down that flange. Bending the corner, the inside corners, I just cut some MDF with the same radius on it, and just use that to mush it down. I do anneal those corners to make them easier to bend. You can kind of see just cleaning it all up in that little dolly. It's a lot of hammering and bending and rolling and trying out and fitting. Oh, look, more hammering. Surprise, surprise. And in the end, you get a windshield frame. This one's not perfect. It may not even be good. Uh, it keeps the wind out and it does fit the airplane. I think maybe a little filler and some primer will help make it okay. I haven't gotten to that point yet. So thanks for watching. And if I make another windshield, I'll make another video. Till next time.